Hello, everybody. Welcome to Raising Vibrations. Simon speaking here. And I'm just basically wanting to create a video, to be honest, with the intention to share a little bit about, where I am, what I'm kind of doing with the channel, what I'm trying to achieve within my own personal exploration of consciousness, and, just offer a more deeper introspective discussion to everybody that's, interested to listen and is curious about what they can actually get from this channel and from sitting here listening to me in some way, shape, or form. So I've been wanting to actually create this video for quite some time, to be honest. And one of the major reasons why that's the case is because recently, especially after September, I felt like a really strong pull to want to be more present on YouTube and create a lot more content on YouTube for you to be able to not only see how I, incredibly self-actualize, but also to get something out of your existence on Earth. And I think that's probably a big indicator in terms of who I am as a person and how I actually operate within my own life. That I definitely, have a philosophy that at some point we do have to start asking ourselves the deeper questions about the nature of our existence and really being able to give us a more deeper, meaningful type of philosophy that allows us to grow, to grow in ways that we never thought was possible. And so what I've, felt really inspired to share and to do was to create a YouTube channel where I gave the impression that, each of us go through very difficult situations in our lives, and sometimes we don't actually have any support around us. And we always might have gone through a situation or circumstance with maybe a little bit more ease if we knew what type of stuff we were dealing with. And so I found myself creating Raising Vibrations out of my own, realization of that story and that need within myself. And so, of course, I kind of, project that into the world and say, hey, guys, like, look, yeah, there's a flag pointing in this direction saying if you're interested in knowing what it means to go through a Saturn return honestly, then I can kind of give you a sense of meaning based on my own personal experience, but also a sense of understanding about what archetypes are actually involved. So not only can you locate yourself in time and space, but you can also have a more fulfilling and enriching story of what that period of your life is like. Okay. And you'll notice that on the channel itself, there's even a more deeper explanation over and beyond what the books have described to us, which I've always felt something that was lacking. And of course, at the end of the day, I have, both Mars and Venus completely and utterly connected in Virgo in my birth chart, and it's in the 8th house of the astrological chart. So I'm deeply committed to service in a very sort of like transmutation type way. So I'm quite intense in my approach, and I'm always looking for the core of it, which is fascinating because, as I said, if you look at my channel, you'll always see that I'm really looking to expand upon and deeply connect to knowledge that is over and above the kind of generic information that is available. And I suppose I take that approach to everything, to be honest. For instance, when I was growing up, there was a lot of sports that I did, and it's the cliche type of situation where I would really excel at those things and be recognized for that. And of course, that would be my soul's lesson with Pluto conjunct the sun, right? And so every time I wanted to interact with something, I was like really, really osmosing with it. And so at the moment, I'm really osmosing with the experience of deep wisdom teaching, like saying, hey guys, did you know that what you're looking at right now is literally the most simplified version of you. It honestly is. Because what you have around you is the toroidal field creating the dynamic of time and space, which you can be seeing as this white lines. And then you also have the ball that's in the middle, vibrating light, that is obviously then connected to what I would consider to be the sphere in which you exist within, and that becomes the energetic field in which you sense stuff through. And you can't perceive this through your eyes. You have to use, a more intuitive third eye experience to be able to see multidimensionally. But really what you're looking at right now is the most simplest version of what you are, essentially. And just the fact that I would pursue such type of randomness in itself shows you an interest of where it is that my consciousness is operating at, and what I'm seeking for, and how I'm trying to, navigate my own story in this life and come to my own sort of like realization of who am I, or what am I, should I say. I know what I am, I know who I am, but what is the story about, and why this intense focus on such deeper curiosity surrounding life. And so, of course, I share that. And so, as I've said before, I mean, a lot of this conversation is going to be very much just unedited. I'm just going to be flowing. So, if I do lose you along the way and then come back 5 minutes later with saying, okay, that's what that meant, you'll understand that that's how I operate as well, which is why I actually have the Mars Virgo there as well. Should I say Mars Venus, is to try and create packets of information that are answering the bigger questions in life in very simple ways, which is one of the things that I wanted to actually use as a topic of conversation today regarding where I'm going with the YouTube and what you as a subscriber can expect from it. And so my intention is to drive home really, really key points regarding the nature of humanities, not only disempowerment and what keeps us disempowered within our own existence, but also teaching the fundamental laws of the universe. So I went through a period of time where I'd be understanding the deeper nature of creation and what reality is really about. And I'd come to some conclusions around the fact that this is hopeless, like we're stuffed. There's forces beyond our kin that are operating on this level and above that are way more advanced in terms of their own personal developments than ourselves. So to be able to understand the story, you really, really got to have a sense of like, oh my God, okay, I'm ready for this picture, which of course I didn't initially, and really, really got sucked into the absence of and futility of existence. But then I came out the other side and I was like, no, this is nonsense. Like the universe doesn't create inequality through, it just means that there has been more expansion across the board. And so we as creative beings need to understand our role within this journey, and that our empowerment comes through the realization that they or advanced intelligent life form out there has only gone through the same story. So it's not like, they have achieved something through instant, gratification. It is a process of growth. I mean, that's fundamentally what life is. And so there's certain techniques and wisdom teachings that allow us to be able to access and transmute this knowledge, which is essentially what you are. You're a transmuter. You transmute consciousness through the body. That is why direct action is important. So for me, I felt that the only way to do that was to be a living representation of it, which not only would heal my own karma, but would be able to give an impression of how to actually do this on a very interesting level. And this is not new information. I'm not tapping into something here where it's like, oh my God, this guy's a revolutionary. No, I'm actually just, in a sense, opening up my eyes and going, hey guys, like let's like show up in our lives, basically. And I've watched how other people have done it in their own existences in a less sort of like galactic, cosmic, terminological perspective. But God bless my Uranus and Sagittarius, where I'm kind of spaced out and fringe orientated, whereas really a lot of what I'm really saying can be perceived in very practical terms as, just wake up every morning, feel inspired to do what you love, create content, share with it, connect with people. And that's pretty much it, on a sort of very grounded perspective. Whereas I like to play around with the more cosmic terminology and give us a sense of like infiniteness. Whereas we are already that. We don't need to convince ourselves of it. It's inherent in us. So if we ground ourselves a little bit in terms of what it means to be human, it just literally means wake up to your circumstances in your life, choose actively to want to improve it through self-empowerment, and then through that process experience what it means to grow. And it's like, it's that simple, and yet we complicate it so much with our inability to trust ourselves. And so what I'm really saying to you right now in terms of this conversation, and to make it again come back full circle, is that I would like to integrate going forward with this channel one dimension, the ability to teach and show, like explanations and deeper meanings behind the statements that I make. So I talk a lot about the necessity for balancing the left and right brain. But I wonder within myself if I'm actually making a connection to anybody when I say that. Like, what does that mean for you, and how do you interpret that? So I'm going to go ahead from now onwards, where I feel really, really like excited to start illustrating what I mean by balancing the left and right brain, the hemispheres, and show you that the game that's being played on the planet at this stage from a more higher dimensional perspective can be played by us. We just don't believe that we have that capacity. So I want to hold space to show that we are going to play the game just as equally as everybody else is going, so that we can step into a space of total empowerment and actually grow a community of souls that are realizing their infinite potential, i.e. to actually pulsate your vision and wisdom based on what you're seeing right now. So it's really, really exciting, to be honest, and super inspiring. And I created a video yesterday actually called the full moon in Gemini, where I kind of gave a short introduction into how I'm going to approach it. And to a part of me, I still felt a little bit right-brained with the experience, where some of my statements were a little bit abstract to me, and I really wanted to drive home some of the important statements that I was making. For instance, if you watch the video called Paris Attacks, Manipulation of the Unified Field, I was very cosmic about my approach there. Yet at the same time, what I was really trying to attribute to is that each of us within our psyches, i.e. our psychology, our responses, have got very, very deeply ingrained, fight or flight issues, okay, through lifetimes of consistently having those things reinforced in us, for whatever reason. So we move through our life and we experience situations in our lives that create, for some reason, this polarity within us, where we either have to fight or we have to flight. And of course, this is instinctual. It's a root chakra Mars energy situation. But how do we deal with those things, and how do we work through those experiences so that we actually manifest from a balanced and holistic way? And holistic way is a really big thing. I speak a lot about unity consciousness, and what does that mean? And this is what I was referencing yesterday, that unity consciousness is about balancing the left and right brain, which is operating from a very deeply intuitive inner knowing of yourself in an abstract sense, but understanding the mechanics that the body has to transmute deep abstract thoughts into very practical solutions that offer self-empowerment, or a meaningful place of security within self. So as an example that I could use to illustrate that, and this is what I'm doing, I'm creating this balanced left and right brain through my communication right now, because that is a big thing for me. I'm literally practicing it on myself because I'm learning the skill myself. So of course, everything that I share with you is my opportunity to directly show you how this would be operating in my own consciousness and exploring it with you. It's like kind of like a diary, basically, but not in the sense of like, I need dear diary. Hey, it's more along the lines of like, hey guys, like check what I'm showing you over here, because I'm showing this to myself. And, it's fun to look at. You don't, anyway. So, so again, coming back to my main point about unity consciousness, like what is it, and how does it operate, and how do we see it in the world, and what does it mean, and why would you want it? Like all of these questions that are left brain give us a meaningful description. And it's important for us to access this part of ourselves. So I think today I'm going to kind of end off the video right now, as I feel that I don't want to babble on too long, but I just maybe want to share with everybody that this is where I'm going with that. So I'm going to be integrating a lot more grounded technical, not grounded technical, but grounded techniques within the way that I'm going to be conveying my astrology to you. I really want to put across my own individuality, which is to say, look, I believe that it's all fantastic that we understand that Mars in Virgo means self-analysis, but what does that actually mean in terms of transmuting it through the human body? Like, how do you actually go about living that experience? Like, how do you take advantage of that? So not only do you step into a space within yourself of listening to astrologers out there tell you what's happening regarding the sky and being passive to the experience, but more about actually using the energy to anchor it into your third dimensional body, your physical body, and actually imprint your cellular memory be over and beyond this receptivity process. Oh, I'm having a Pluto square at this stage. Like, well, it's like it's going to happen to me. It's like, no, like I'm having a Pluto square at this stage. So my soul has chosen to specifically shift within inside of myself these certain karmic patterns. What can I do to empower myself in this experience? How can I actually evolve through this? Like, and you can see my eighth house stuff come through a lot with the necessity for evolution, the necessity for integrating this and actually becoming boundless, limitless within my potential, versus creating the psychological roof over my head of saying, I'm only here for this experience, and that my thoughts govern my actions and my thoughts govern my ability to connect to my higher self. So there's a couple of pictures I wanted to show you quickly just to illustrate the next video that's coming out. And I wanted to show you manifestation and how it actually operates, and to kind of really make some connections regarding, so that you yourself, once you've watched this video, go, okay, not only am I going to develop the courage to be able to understand how to manifest, but I'm actually going to go ahead and create a YouTube channel so that I can then start doing YouTube as well. Because I think everybody should do YouTube in some way. Like, it doesn't matter how you do it or what you do it about, you just need to do it because it's incredibly fun. It stimulates the creative inner child, and it gives you the opportunity to really like develop a more meaningful connection to a community of people that are really interested in what you have to say, even if you might not perceive yourself to be something that's, got something worthwhile to say. I think it's an incredibly powerful therapy, and it definitely exposes your ability to get people to see you. And I think that this is important in the age of technology and our relationship to the technological understanding. This is my favorite, though, by the way, the Tesla experience of feedback loop, awesome, infinite energy, and there it is again in a different way. So beautiful. I mean, that's what you were watching basically earlier. So yeah, and then just like understanding what inner space is about. I mean, inner space is your relationship to yourself and how you understand that everything that is within is without, as above, so below. And really just balancing that left and right brain and creating polarity consciousness. So yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to me babble. I hope that you enjoyed this little, discussion that I shared with you today. I mean, I've got lots more, and I've really just touched the surface in terms of what I feel is important to say. Maybe at some point really, really soon, I'll start to share with you a little bit about where I come from and what my kind of upbringing was like, and, just generally opening up to where I live, and so on and so forth. But until then, have a fantastic day and keep inspired. Take care. Bye-bye.